Gaming has its fair share of stupid naming schemes and badly named consoles. Like for instance, the Xbox. You start off by calling your first console the Xbox, which is fair enough. But then you name your sequel the Xbox 360, which is kind of stupid. The 360 doesn't really have anything to do with the console that warrants calling it the 360, other than the fact that the logo changed from a cross to a sphere with a cross on it, which is also equally as stupid. Why the hell is it called Xbox if it's gonna have a spherical logo? And then they call their next system the Xbox One, which is even more boneheaded. Like, did they seriously not see the confusion that would bring by calling it the fucking One? They had to rename the Xbox to Original Xbox just to avoid confusion with the One. A better idea is to just not call your third system the One. One means first, one means the genesis, one means the start, not the fucking third iteration. Why would you even think of doing something absolutely so idiotic? Was the marketing team on drugs when they decided this stupid name for this console? But besides that, there's also the Wii U, a system that primarily failed because of how completely and utterly stupid its naming was. Frankly, if they gave the system any other name, the sales would have doubled, nay, even tripled. What does DU stand for? It apparently stands for the gamepad, but we both know that's a stupid fucking lie because I own one and the shape of that gamepad is fucking rectangular. It don't look like no U. Wii touchpad would have made more sense, but I guess that would sell the system off as an add-on rather than a console, ignoring the fact that confusion already existed. Bravo, Nintendo. Give it up to your marketing team to produce some of the stupidest names on earth. But honestly, I think its handheld cousin doesn't get enough hate for the naming scheme. The 3DS is already kind of a stupid name as is, since the DS gets its name for being dual screens. 3 dual screens sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? Sounds like you'd be getting 6 screens, but you still only get 2. Could this be considered false advertising? Technically, it can also be an acronym for 3-dimensional screen, but that's just one screen that just so happens to be 3D. That doesn't make it very special in that case, since there were tons of 3D TVs with far higher resolutions back then. I get that it's 3D and that was the rage back then, but they could have come up with some kind of name better than 3DS. DS 3D is unimaginative, but it works and is less stupid. But that's not even the worst part, but the incessant add-ons and revisions of the thing made everything so much more confusing and retarded. 2DS? What the actual fuck? That's just the fucking DS. I want to play 3DS games, not DS games. Don't give me a damn DS. New 3DS? That's just what you call a 3DS you just bought, not a new model of a 3DS. Imagine the confusion of telling people you own a new 3DS, but you got it 2 years ago actually. 3DS XL? I'm ordering a fucking game console, not a shirt size. Nintendo seriously had no idea of how to name shit without making it the weirdest, most confusing, memeable shit possible. I like the additional revisions. It gave the console a level of choice and freedom that hasn't really been seen in any other console since. But when you name them like this, I start to wonder if sticking with one revision was enough. Another one that boggles me is AMD. Not Ryzen, because those products are named pretty well and aren't that confusing. No, what I mean are their graphics cards, because they cause a lot of confusion recently. Don't buy an HD 6950, buy a 6950 XT. I do not know what they were thinking naming the RX GPU series. It was fine it was 3 digits back in 2016, because 3 digits can't cause that much confusion. After all, AMDs didn't have GPUs named by 3 digits before. But then they started with some whack ass shit naming the RDNA GPUs. Now they've got the RX 6000 series, which is so weird. They literally went full circle with their naming. Like, imagine you knew nothing about GPUs and had to choose between an HD 6950 and a 6950 XT. Anybody who doesn't know anything about GPUs would have literally zero clue on what the hell XT stands for. Meanwhile, HD is a very popular name and has been known for a lot of people for years now. Imagine getting the HD 6950 and being fucking livid when you realize it can't even play the majority of modern games. Couldn't they have come up with a different name? Of course, I'm probably stretching things here. After all, the HD 6000 series isn't even being sold anymore, let alone in an area where people would see it or get confused. It's certainly less confusing than Xbox's stupid naming scheme. Still can't get over the fact they called their fucking 8th-gen console the Xbox One. Another thing, reboots. Just all of them. Imagine trying to search up the name of an old classic game on Google, only to get bombarded with images and results of the reboot. Why the fuck would one title reboot the name of a franchise? There are so many names out there, and you chose the one that would cause the most confusion between the people who enjoyed the original and the people who want the reboot. If you search up the original, you have to specify the original, or the year when the original came out. It's especially frustrating when said reboot sucks compared to the original. Does Google genuinely think I want to search up Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012? I don't care about that game. I want the original 2005 version, please. Don't give me the version that the majority of the Need for Speed fanbase fucking hates and thinks is mid as hell next time. I guess as long as there's an extremely stupid marketing team out there, there will always be bad video game names. But man, some of these stuff can be stupid as hell sometimes.